Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Geraint and this is Dark Sky Photography. A warm welcome to you all. And this evening you find me at the foothills of Eryri National Park, Snowdonia, and I'm at Llanberis. Llanberis has a couple of nice Welsh iconic monuments, you can call them I suppose. There's a couple of lakes here, and one of the lakes is the reservoir for that building down behind me, which is the Dolbadarn power station. The Dolbadarn power station is a hydroelectric plant, and so it makes electricity by siphoning water from one of the upper reservoirs in the mountain above down into the lake reservoir below in Llyn Padarn. On the shores of that lake we have an ancient Welsh castle called Dolbadarn. And Dolbadarn Castle is the gateway and the guardian to the Llanberis Pass, which leads up to a river, which is Snowdon. That is one of the structures I'm going to photograph for you all tonight. Also in the area we have another iconic structure, which is a tree, an organic one. It's the Lonely Tree of Llanberis, and it's a well photographed object in North Wales, and it does have a limited lifespan because it's semi-submerged in the lake of Llyn Padarn over there. And so I want to capture those two features of this beautiful area, and it's getting dark pretty quickly, so I'm going to move away from this vantage point soon and head to my first target, which may be Dolbadarn, and then I'll move on to the Lonely Tree after. I use an app now called Planet Pro, and the advantage of Planet Pro is that it shows where the nebula of the night sky is. Photopills is my other app, and that shows the Milky Way pretty nicely but lacks the nebula detail which Planet Pro has. And in winter, in January, the eminent constellation in the night sky is Orion. This is the month of Orion, and Orion is going to arise behind me when it gets dark and move over from east to south to southwest as the night progresses, nicely behind the areas of interest which I'm planning to be my foreground, which is, like I mentioned earlier, the Lonely Tree and Dolbadarn Castle. In the night sky we also have the constellations of Gemini with the stars Castor and Pollux. Taurus, the eye of the bull, is the star Aldebaran, which is associated with the Orion constellation. And we also have Eryri, which is topped by the star Capella. And so there's plenty of interesting features in the night sky to capture in January. We have the Pleiades, and we have Uranus in that region as well, but we weren't going to see that without unless we use a telescope, which I'm not tonight. And so I want to capture beautiful night sky of Orion above the beautiful foreground features in the Llanberis area here. And so I'm going to head on to my first composition and check it out before it gets too dark. But yeah, it's beautiful up here. The mountains over there, by the way, are the Morwen range, and further over behind me you might see a bit of snow over there. That is Snowdon, and behind me to the east we've got the Eryri mountain range with the Carnedd mountains over there, and the dip in the middle is where the pass is to climb to Snowdon, and also it's a bit of a bottleneck, which is why Dolbadarn Castle was built by the great Welsh princes of the 13th century, the great Prince Llewellyn, I believe, and the structure is about 800 years old, but more of that later. And so I hope you stay with me to watch me vlog, and I shall get on with doing some photography, and I'll try and do some imaging of this vantage point overlooking the lakes. And I might be able to get the castle down there, but it is getting very dark, so let's switch to my other camera and let's see what photography I can get on these objects. But wonderful here. I'll give you a quick pan. So we're just going to pan to the west where you can see Llyn Padarn. Beautiful Llyn Padarn, the town of Llanberis. Dolbadarn Castle is right down there with not much light, I'm glad to say. And then we have Llyn Padarn and the hydroelectric plant, Dolbadarn Power Station. And in the distance we have Snowdonia and the pass between the mountains in the valley there. Penna Pass. We've got some furry friends up here. We've got some sheeps, dead-eyed in Gymraeg, and they're touring around the castle area, so watch out for their eyes. They glint a lot, can be quite scary in the woodland that surrounds this old Welsh castle. Let's get off the trail a bit more, eh? Look at them up there. Sheep's guarding the castle. Give you Dolbadarn Castle. So here we are at Dolbadarn Castle, and a little about the history of Dolbadarn. It was built by Prince Llewellyn the Great of Wales in the 13th century, so it's about 800 years old, and it stands about 50 feet high, and it's one of the finest examples of a Welsh round tower we have here in the country. And it guarded the pass of Llanberis, a solitary guardian, to oversee the coming and goings of any trade which the prince could then ask a tariff of. There is a darker side to the tower, because Llewellyn the Last, his name was, he had a brother called Orion, and he didn't like his brother, unfortunately, and he imprisoned him in the base of his tower for 20 years. So a bit of a dark history there of Dolbadarn Castle. But look at its prominence on this outcropping of rock here, and it's got fantastic views to the Llyn Padarn and Llyn Padarn lakes, and also Snowdonia behind Penna Pass. Beautiful mountain ranges around here, so wonderful to visit during the day, never mind at night. And of course at night is what I want to capture. I want to capture this solitary little guardian fort of Welsh iconic history, underneath the constellation of Orion, the prominent constellation in the night sky of January. So I'm going to use a 50mm lens just to get a bit more detail of a castle, and I'll do a bit of a vertorama. I might do 2 columns for the foreground, and then I'll go into the night sky and do some token images of the sky above Dolbadarn Castle, and then I'll replace that sky with Orion, which should arise and is arising just to the right of the castle behind me. It's not quite in position yet. I have to wait a little bit longer, but once it's in position, then I'll probably get the star tracker out and do some long chat exposures. But first of all, let's do the foreground shots, and I'm going to use a light to help me focus this little red light, which is quite powerful, and you can narrow the beam, and so that's going to help me focus the Canon 6D onto the castle. Okay, let's see how I get on. That looks good. Got the castle nice in the centre there. Focusing is nice, and we're using f4 ISO 800 and a time of 1 minute. Cloud does roll in here. I'm hoping for clear patches later so I can do the sky, and so I may as well get on to the foreground shots. So I'll do another column to the right of the castle, and then I'll go up and do a couple above the castle as well. So it'll be a 4-image composite, but of course I'll replace the sky above the castle with Orion once it reappears again. It's looking nice. Yeah, so you can see now Orion's getting in the right place for me at Dolbadarn, and so I'm going to head up to the castle and do a couple more foreground shots, and then I'll do the night shots as Orion clears the horizon and is out of the cloud. So let's head on up there. Wasn't that cool? Went all the way to the top of the turret there. There's a little cage at the top, so you can't walk on the very top walls because that would be dangerous anyway. Yeah, it's yeah, you can look at the whole basement and the interior, which is not much really now. It's a bit of a hollow shell, is the tower, but it's still nice just to imagine how things may have looked in the past. So let's get up there and see what more shots I can do. Cool. Well, behind me is Dolbadarn Power Station, all lit up at night. Quite nice, eh? And I don't know if you want to see what's inside Dolbadarn Castle, but while we've got a few clouds, nearly lost my light, overhead, I thought it'd be opportune time to take you inside the building. So let's go inside this tower of Prince Llewellyn the Great. Let's check it out. Okay, cool. So let's go through the main door. Nice big window above. There's a little plan of a tower there. And so the brother of Llewellyn the Last, Owain Goch, was in jail there. Can we see it here? And that's the very bottom of the tower. And I presume that's where he was held prisoner for 20 years. Lovely. And you can see all the small windows, and there is the opening above. So you can't stand on top of a tower here. But this is a classic round tower design, which is very well preserved. One of the best preserved in Wales. Cool. And we can actually walk up to a little alcove there, so let's go up the steps. Up the steps. Oh, good view of Llanberis and Llyn Padarn. Quite steep, these steps. Another little window there. More steps. First floor. View to the north and to the east, where Penna Pass and the valley of Llanberis lies towards Snowdon. It's pretty narrow here. Focus better. A cage. And there we are, folks, at the top of the Tower of Dolbadarn. And so 50 feet high, built in the 13th century. Wonderful commanding views of Llanberis and towards Snowdonia and Snowdon itself you can see on clear days. And so yeah, we can't get on top because there'd be a danger of you falling off and killing yourself. And so that's why there's a cage here. But there we are. That's the inside of the castle for you. Now let's get back outside and start to see some stars up above, which means time for, yeah, you guessed it, getting the rest of my night shots, which have been a bit stop-start this evening. Let's get back down. I don't like it. It's a bit damp. It's a bit dicey, a bit sketchy coming down. Ah, excellent. Down to the basement. All right, let's go out. Yay, there's a plough. F2, ISO 800, 40 seconds. Tracked. Let's switch on. Okay. Clouds. Okay, so I've been just about finishing my foreground stuff here. The clouds were quite slow to dissipate from the castle, but the stars are out now. You can see some behind me, and Orion is back above the castle again, I can see. And so I'll get the star tracker working and capture the night sky for my night shots. And you probably noticed I've been having some fun with my new glow ball as well. I've been lighting up the castle with this, so I think the images might be quite interesting to see once I process them. And so yeah, I'm just going to finish off at Dolbadarn Castle here, and then I'll move on to the next location. I spent a bit longer than I'd like, but the clouds delayed me, because you always have to accept there'll be clouds in North Wales. But yeah, they're all over there. They're probably going to come back over, so I'm going to do the night shots now. I reckon that's a wrap for Dolbadarn. So there's another lake I want to go to, which is Llyn Padarn, and let's see what I can find there. Some tree or something, they say, is quite nice to photograph. Let's go look for it. Looking for the lonely tree. It's dark, not easy. I thought I found it, but it's not. It's not the one. Wait a minute. got it. That's it. I think I found it, boys and girls, so let's get a bit closer and let's make sure it is the Lonely Tree. Let's go to the point where I can see it over the lake nicely. This way, I think. Do you think that's it? I think that's it. So I found the Lonely Tree. I've got to take a shot for you, haven't I, while it's still there. You know, it's semi-submerged in Llyn Padarn, and these birch trees only have a life expectancy about 30 years, and this was planted 10 years ago, and we don't think it'll make 30 years because it doesn't get the nutrients from the soil, it's like in the water. And so I'll take a photo now before it disappears. It's not going to be the nicest photo at all, much better ones than obviously has been taken than I have, because they come here at the right time at sunrise behind in Pen-y-Pass Valley between the mountains of Eryri and Llyn. You get beautiful shots. Mist on the Llyn would be beautiful as well, as added interest, but not now. I'll take the shot for you because it's the best I can do, and if I'm lucky I might get a bit of cloud clearing again. The cloud covers the stars in fits and bursts, but yeah, I used an app called Planet Pro to see where the nebula is at a particular time above this tree, and so I'll use that as a reference guide to drop the sky on it that we had here tonight. Yeah, let's do a foreground shot of the Lonely Tree. Yeah, okay, let's set up. So yeah, I'm going to use the 50mm Sigma Art lens. It's the same lens I use for the night sky, so the composition will be balanced in terms of focal length. And I'm going to use a 1-minute exposure, see how that goes on f4 and ISO 800. And hopefully I won't blow the highlights from the lights in the distance out. But I'll do a couple of shots and just see how we get on. And I'll probably do a vertical panorama to get the sky as well. So yeah, a bit of a lake, get the tree and get the sky, and then we'll blend Orion into the sky, into the area where it was about an hour earlier, but the clouds took it out. But I got the shots from the castle early in the same direction, so it's acceptable to do that, I'd say. And so yeah, my first shot of Lonely Tree. I've lived in Anglesey, North Wales for many years, and it's the first time I've come to this place, and I had to ask a local man who kindly directed me to this place of the lake to make sure I could find it, because at dark it's so different. All right, let's try a shot. Oh, I might light paint it as well a little bit, just to help with the detail and get some contrast on the branches. Yeah, so I'll do some different types of shots. So let's do the first one. That looks pretty nice. I've got some good reflections in the lake, and I quite like the exposure balance, the histogram. It's nicely over, just away from the left on the back of the camera here, so the exposure's good. Now I'm going to light paint a little bit and see how this shot comes out. That'll be enough. That has come out rather nicely, if I must say so myself. I'm quite happy with that. And so what I'll do now, I'll just do another image a bit higher up. I might be missing the top branch here, so I don't want to crop it, and I want to get some of the sky in as well. the sky actually looks pretty nice. There are some gaps in the night sky, so yeah, I may get Orion over this yet. Alright, we'll crack on. Hey! Well everyone, I think that's about it for my vlog this evening, and why not finish off at the Lonely Tree? And so I was hoping to do a bit more of a panoramic above the lakes. I might be able to still do that because the stars are back out again, I'm glad to say. So don't be surprised if I do a panorama from a vantage point I was at earlier. That'd be quite cool. But yeah, if you did enjoy this vlog, give me the thumbs up. Subscribe if you wish, and I hope you enjoyed my capture of the Lonely Tree on Llyn Padarn for while it still is there. And in the future, very near future, I'll be going on my travels. I'm returning to Tenerife. I'm going to put a couple of images at the end of the vlog that marked last time, and so tune in for my adventures in Tenerife too, because that's going to happen next week. And so from me, from Dark Sky Photography, I hope you enjoyed what I did tonight, and I'll see you again soon. Take care all. Hope you have clear skies. Look after yourselves. That's it from me. Here's the images.